is time for the road and House of Reckoning. I am ProAceJOKER, and you, my disciple, it is time for you to learn the ways of the speedrunner. We are doing the road and House of Reckoning. The reason being, they're both going to end up being very short missions. We're not going to do all of the absolute fastest speedrun strats for House of Reckoning, but we are going to do the major skips that both will skip. I'll spoiler, we're going to skip basic and advanced training, okay? So, you're not going to have to worry about them, and trust me, they're worth it, and it's very easy tricks to do. They're very easy tricks to do. They're hard to mess up. I said in the last video, at the end of it, they're not, I guess they're not hard to mess up, but they're easy to not mess up, I guess, if that makes any sense, right? Like, so right at the start here, what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to kill these enemies right at the beginning. Just shoot your shot, send them flying. Bye! He died. Oops. There's a reason I'm doing this now. I mean, you probably have seen, you could just invis dash all the way across, but I'm gonna be doing a cool thing for you guys here that I think is worth doing, and it's not too hard to set up. Hitting the perfect direction can be difficult, but because we have thruster pack, usually I'm used to doing this without thruster pack. Because I have thruster pack, this shouldn't be too terrible. So, we'll talk about House of Reckoning soon, because there's a lot to talk about in that one, and I'm going to make sure I explain. I said it before, I'm going to over-explain every detail. Because I explained it in my Legendary Guide, and it apparently wasn't enough, because, again, there's always a few things for me comes natural as a Halo player, but not everyone's a Halo player, so. But right now, we're going to grab this fusion coil. I'm going to have my grapple hook selected, that way I get my cursor. I didn't explain that in LASO. I didn't explain that at all, but you don't need to have the duct tape on screen. 10 out of 10 guide, professional LASO guide creator who should have explained this in literally level 1. Your grapple hook actually tells you where your reticle is as long as it's within grapple distance. That's what that yellow dot is it tells you how far away. So like, not in distance, right? Like, right here, I can't grapple. Right there, I can grapple. So, that's interesting. But what you want to do, take this fusion coil, and this is just an easy way to set up. It doesn't have to be that precise, but you're going to do a fusion coil launch. Oh, no. Well, that actually just affected things, where I'm going to actually blow myself up now. So, that actually just changed the setup. So, that's not going to work ideally. So, don't get seen by that. But alright, you're gonna take this fusion coil. You're gonna kind of line up with this little wing here. You see this little kind of hole in the wraith? You want to line up to the line next to it. And you're gonna kind of just do it at an angle. You're gonna step back so you're right about here. You see these little notches? There's like this notch in the center. You're gonna kind of stand around, right around that second line to the back in front. It doesn't have to be precise, but you aim right about here at the top of the line, but in the middle of it, and then you just drop the fusion coil, and you can kind of just set it up like that. It doesn't have to be that precise. I'm gonna push it over just a smidge, and then I'm gonna have to do this quick because there's a chance that they're gonna shoot at me. Well, here, I'll crouch onto the wraith, and hopefully that'll hide me. That doesn't do a good job. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a fusion coil launch. Now, this one is going to work a little differently. We're angling this because we need it to launch us directionally. We're going to try and get it to... I'm going to show it. We need to try and get it to line up so that we perfectly go across all of these chasms. I can't really spin the map, but you can't tell. So you can't tell, but there are some gaps in the wall. And remember those invisible barriers? They still exist. So we need to try and perfectly line up that we go in between all of the gaps and land as close as we can here. Now, we can use the thruster pack to help direct us. But in order to make this work, what you're gonna... The timing of this is different. So, when we talk about doing a grapple launch, typically you jump over the... Sorry, a fusion coil, a noob cube launch. You jump over the fusion coil and grapple it as you're going by it. This one is going to be a little different because it's a slanted, positioned fusion coil. You're already above it. So what you want to do is you're going to grapple it, and after you grapple it, you're going to move forward and hit you're going to move forward and jump as late as you can. So it's kind of the opposite. Before you jump and grapple as late as you can, this one you grapple and jump as late as you can. So it's going to look something like this. And you're going to want to walk forward. So it's going to look like that. It's just walking forward in that. And this is like almost perfect, right? It passes by that invisible, and there's that invisible barrier. That being said, I can use my thruster pack to kind of give me a bit of direction so that I can move towards this. Don't worry about the return to battlefield, and then just spam the shit out of your thruster pack, because you need to get as far away from the center here as you can. Because you just dropped where I... That's a real shame, but that's okay. I'm going to keep that win so you saw it, but if you saw, we landed in the middle of Wraiths and Ghosts. So we have to be a bit careful there. But we're going to try and do it again. Oh, and I guess one big thing is also your cursor. If you aim like this way and do it, you're going to go that way. Oh, no. But if you aim this way, you're going to go that way. So you got to try and line yourself up perfectly in this. And really, the best way is just line yourself up so that these lines, you're facing perfectly, like, parallel to the lines. I'm going to be okay with that because I'm kind of explaining it. It's fine. You want to aim like you're almost facing just directly towards it, right? So here, you don't want to look crooked towards it. You want all of these to be parallel with you. So, once again, if anything, you want to look a little to the right. Oh, and that's what it looks like if you don't get a high enough launch. I didn't actually jump right at the end there, so it's okay. Oof. Damn. I was trying to get it. I heard those rockets get shot, so it's all right. These ones I might just keep in just as examples, but it's okay. So there we go. Ooh, that one's way too far. So we can kind of correct. We can kind of correct ourselves. So the problem with that one is I didn't go far enough. I actually got too much upwards and not enough forward. It's okay. We'll try to make this work. Wherever I land, it's all right. What we'll do is we'll just kind of try and recover from there. We are now just going to run straight forward, and we're just going to go. So, but that's what you want to do, ideally, and whatever distance you make is probably good. As long as you make it past the halfway mark, you'll be okay. What you want to do from here, immediately climb up. Climb up as high as you can up here. You're going to hit a return to battlefield? Don't worry about that. Just bypass it and keep going. You'll eventually get past it. And that's it. So, that's the road. It's really like, it's a 30-minute thing. I mean, I've already apparently been having this going for 8 minutes somehow. I don't know how, but I guess that's what explaining looks like. So, it's literally like a 2-minute mission if done properly, so. That was good enough, and I had the explanation, and you saw an actual pretty successful launch, too. You can get, if you get it perfect, you can get it where you land all the way here. But you come all the way here, if the bridge isn't down, you can activate it. Sometimes, if you make it far enough, the bridge will already be extended, and you don't have to worry about pressing it. And take that as a victory. If you are able to get far enough that the bridge is already extended, and you don't have to hit the button, that's a great launch. You did a good job, so. But that's the road. That's probably longer than it should be. But, that being said, we're going to just continue this video moving right into House of Reckoning. So we are going to be doing the massive, like, speedrunning tricks here. I said earlier I didn't want to do any of the massive, like, out-of-the-map stuff for most of the missions because some of it is really complicated with hitting a lot of load zones and stuff like that. That being said, if you guys have played this on Legendary, you know how annoying basic and advanced training are. Having to fight waves and waves and waves of enemies just on top of each other with hunters and brutes. It's not fun. So we are going to do it on this one. Now, what it involves, I'm going to explain it here just so that you guys understand it, because once we get over there, I'll explain it even more. But I want to explain some of the nuances of how it works. You don't need to know all the nitty-gritty details of, like, why it works. But how it works is what it involves is you are going to use your Falcon Punch or your Ground Pound or whatever you want to call it, which is the grapple and then your melee. It's going to do that. Now, if you have the Explosive Punch, it makes it a little harder with objects like this. It's why when I recommend, you don't need this. In fact, sometimes the reach fall, like in a legendary speedrun, the reach fall would actually hinder you because you need to use that thing against certain boxes that get moved around that we use to like push us through the ground. But how it works is in this game, it kind of works to give it the best example of what's happening. If you have seen a Halo 4 speedrun or the Halo CE speedrun, what flood bumping is, where or shield bumping, where you stand on a shield and it pushes you through a wall, or in Halo 4, when we do on Reclaimer in the Ghost, where we jump out of the Ghost and just phase through that plasma wall, it's basically doing the same thing, but with the ground pound in Halo Infinite. And the only way it works is against slanted corners. So weirdly enough, most doorways like this will kind of do it. Now you have to find the exact right angle, but you're able to do it in kind of any slanted floors or slanted objects, things like that. Like, I could technically make it work against this box here. If I got the right angle, I might be able to actually phase myself through the ground just by ground pounding into this little corner here. And we're going to use that to actually cause ourselves to fall through the world, and we can use this in, like, anywhere in the game. You can do this in so many places. And we're going to use this to actually phase out of the map. And I'm going to show you what the lineups are and everything. So all you got to do is right off the bat, just enter into basic training. Head all the way to the top of the map here. And what you want to do is you want to line yourself up. So there's these kind of hinges. There's 3 hinges. You want to line yourself up with the rightmost hinge. Push yourself against it and kind of stand on this lip here. Not this slant. You want to stand on this lip. What you're going to do is set your grapple hook so it's above this little clamp or hinge right here. And you want to hit the grapple right about there. If you hit it too low, like if you hit it right here, that's not going to work. If you hit it too high, like over there, that's not going to work. So you want to hit it here, aim just above the hinge. If I aim here, it's not going to work. Right? If you go past it like that, it probably means you were either too far to the right or too high up. If I hit it like this, oops. If I hit it like this, it means I was too low. What you want is it to look like this. You're going to aim here, and the best idea is kind of aim above the center of it. Right there, and just pound. It's really easy to do, and it will just cause you to phase right through the ground. And it should look just like that. And it's not that precise. It actually has a pretty big window of error, so feel free to do that. And once you phase through, that's how it looks. All you got to do is jump down here. Now, the big thing you're waiting on is, okay, hold on. Let me hit down. If I down, you see that it says survive basic training. You need to make sure that's activated. And you heard those warning alerts saying that a wave of enemies was spawning. You need to make sure that wave of enemies is spawning. If you get that, like, super fast, don't immediately start continuing on the path. You need to make sure you are waiting for certain triggers. If you don't wait for certain load zones and you don't wait for certain triggers, you will not be able to finish this mission. I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you, so if you need to rewatch it, take it slow, do it. But pretty much all you need to know, phase through the wall, and then wait until you hear those sirens blaze. Another good thing to know is once you land over here, walk backwards into this until the doorway disappears. If the doorway disappears, you did it correctly and you waited for the triggers properly. Once you do that, just start running across, and then immediately grapple up top. Now, I'm going to show you what happens if you do this wrong, because it's a big issue. And then I might just cut to where I'm back here. So, if you need to try and stay close to the wall. There's a pretty big window of error. As I said, this is easy that I think any player can do, but it's also easy to mess up if you're not careful. So here's what happens. So here's how it should look if done properly. You should launch yourself up and just climb yourself all the way up to the top here. Now, if you're not careful and you decide to go tricky and like do giant wings around or something like that, this is what's going to happen. So if you fall too low, or you go too far outwards, or anything like that... Wow, okay, this is a lot bigger window. Let's do too low, then. If you fall too low... Okay, I guess it just doesn't matter. I don't know what's happening. But if you fall too low, it's gonna do this. This is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna make it sound like you're perpetually following, and you're stuck. I can't do anything in this state. This is a softlock game. You've broken the game. You can't do anything. You're not gonna die. You can't kill yourself. You're stuck out here. And this is what happens if you go too high, you fall too low, or you go too far away. Best thing, stay close. Now, as you saw, there's a pretty big window of error. I didn't even realize that's how far away you can get from the center elevator and stuff like that. It's pretty generous, so it's hard to mess up, but, you know, you don't have to, like, literally be touching the wall because you have to get around the barriers, but this is what it looks like when you mess up. If that happens, you have to restart the mission. You don't have another option. You could just end game and actually continue, and it will spawn you inside the elevator. That's not a bad way, and then you can actually do the trick that I'm doing right here. I guess I could have shown that, is you can just do this skip again on the advanced training. The way that we're doing this skip out of the map, it works the exact same way on advanced training. In fact, it actually might be better for you if you do that. But line yourself up, once again, hug the back hinge, aim just above this hinge, hit it. It's pretty easy to do. I've hit it first try 4 times now because I made a few mistakes that you won't see. But then you're going to drop down, and as you see, door doesn't disappear because I haven't waited for the triggers. You cannot miss these triggers, or otherwise you will not be able to finish this mission. It is the most important thing. So don't miss it. Now, that being said, once you hear the alarm bells, you can walk forward and do that. Now, if you don't want to do these tricks, you don't have to, but you can take your chances with the basic training apes and stuff like that. So, but jump up, oop, hug the wall. Again, you have infinite grapples, so don't worry about needing to recover. And once you get to the top of the elevator, you need to hit one more trigger. And the trigger is right there. If you want to play it safe, just walk all the way over to this console here. Once you do that, what you want to do is you should get a objective complete that says exit training room. Drop down here, then jump across. Then you want to jump, wait just a second, and then catch yourself, and go. You need to get that dialogue that says, where the weapon says, I think that's it, keep moving, and you should get survive basic training should complete. Okay? So you need to drop low enough. If you don't drop low enough, you're gonna miss that trigger, and it doesn't. Now, you have to be... That's the hardest jump, though. If you fall too low, like I showed, you will softlock your game, and you're going to need to restart your mission. Or you can just end game, go to the menu, hit continue. It will spawn you in the elevator over there, and you can just ride your way up, and you can do the exact same trick on the first room as you do on the second room. And in fact, it would be better because you don't have to worry about this next trigger. This next trigger is right about here. And there's 2 ways to hit this. One, you can just jump out, and you can hit it. Once you get the objective that says complete advanced training, you know you did it. Now, if you're too worried and you don't want to hit that trigger there, what you can actually do is you can come over to this one and just jump here and hug the wall. If you do that, you'll automatically get the trigger. So there's like these 3 kind of extra rooms, the spawn rooms. Come to the second one. That will automatically activate the trigger for the complete advanced training. So that's all you have to do. But once you do that, come all the way to the end, walk around the side here, and then just drop onto this one more time. You'll see complete advanced training, touch the wall just to be safe, The doorway once again disappeared. This doorway doesn't always disappear, so don't worry if it doesn't disappear on this one. You only have to worry about the one in Survive Basic Training. Then, one more time, whoops, climb the wall. Now, sometimes it will automatically teleport you in. I'm going to try and make it so it doesn't teleport me in because I want to show you guys how it looks. Cool. If you actually if you stay a little bit of a distance away from the elevator, it will automatically teleport you back into the elevator, and then you can just climb up the elevator shaft. If it doesn't, though, like it didn't for me, what you do, hit the trigger, drop into the doorway. So the doorway's right here. You want to kind of drop into the doorway, and you need to just kind of finagle yourself in, and you want to try, if you notice... It's more of a feeling thing, but you kind of notice it feels like I'm going up and down slopes here. Like, that's up, and then right here. So you want to hit the lowest point, right? You want to try and, like, shimmy yourself in so you're at the lowest point. Crouch, and then you're going to aim for this barrier here. If you know what you're aiming for, this is the door frame. That's the elevator shaft. There's kind of this giant chasm. There's one kind of slat that you can see, and then one more chasm with a black line in it. Right next to that is this gray structure. You can grapple attached to that if done properly, like that. Okay? And that's what you're going to use. Oops. Yeah, I gotta fall back in to punch your way back in. And that's how you phase back into the map. So you just fall into the doorway, and that works on any doorway like these ones in it. We're gonna, like, maybe use it in a lot of areas. But if you hit all the triggers, meaning you don't have any markers sitting there, it shouldn't say it shouldn't say advance, or it shouldn't say basic training. If you see those, I would recommend restarting the mission, because you might have broken the game to where you're kind of screwed. Okay? So... anyways, that's it. That's how you skip those two areas, and now we gotta kill Jaga. Now, there's a few ways you can kill Jaga. I haven't had any luck with the insta-kill that people do with him, I guess. But if you... I'm sure you guys have seen... I think Mint Blitz did a video on this. I'm sure you guys have seen... one thing you can do is you can try and stack up as many fusion coils right here on him as you can. And you can blow them up as they spawn. Now, you have to be careful picking up fusion coils. I think it's a weird byproduct of the bandana skull. If you pick it up and then you walk into another fusion coil, it eats the fusion coil. So you got to be a little careful with that, because you just lose it. It doesn't stack. You just lose that fusion coil. So you have to be a little careful. But you can just try and stack as many fusion coils as you want. And we're going to do that just for fun. So, because I want to just do a little post-mortem of that. Hopefully I explained all those tricks. It does help. You know, whenever you're doing those grapple, I don't know if I said it now that I think about it, which is definitely a problem, but whenever you do those grapple phase throughs, you want to crouch. Whenever you try to ground pound back into the world or out of the world, crouch beforehand. So you crouch, then do it. You could probably see me do it in the video, but yeah, make sure you crouch before trying it. You can technically do it without it, but it does help being crouched. It just makes it a little bit more reliable and a little bit easier for it to work. So, recommend doing that. I think I explained it all. As I said, if you just try to hug the wall best you can, you need to make sure you hit every single one of those triggers. That is the most important thing, is the triggers. It's not that hard to do. I know it looks complicated, but trust me, just give it a try. If you want to take your chances with fighting all the enemies, if you have tank gun, all the waves of enemies, super easy. You don't have to worry about it. But if you're using Arcane Sentinel Beam and rockets like I am, I don't want to deal with rocket launchering all those enemies and sending them all over the map and then them coming back and killing me some way down the road or something. I don't want to deal with that. So, just do that. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more fun. It's a little, you know, it's cool. So, and it's not as difficult as it looks. So, try not to delete any of the fusion coils here. Alright, as long as I don't touch them, I can push them into each other. I just can't. I don't want to push them too strong before they blow up. And I mean, if you do this, you shouldn't take any damage, so you'll definitely have checkpoints. So that's the other big thing is, you know, fighting the enemies is like, you might end up killing Jaga, end up dying to Eshram, and be sent all the way to basic training. And that would not be fun. Trust me. So, alright. Did I get the fusion coils in the back here? I did. Okay. Oh no, there they are. I was like, I'm pretty sure there was more. Okay. Alright. We are now set up. The Jaga fight is relatively easy. We have a cheese method for him, so even if this doesn't work, we do have a cheese for him. So, I'm going to make sure I have the right weapon. Sentinel beam is ready. Shock rifle is ready. Or shock grenades are ready. Let's go ahead and do this. So what you want to do is, if you don't kill him, come back to the staircase. Use the shock grenades. You don't need the threat sensor. Use the shock grenades to spot him. I would recommend... Oops. I would recommend putting down a... Ooh, he's down below. Oh, God. So he can't go onto the staircase. So if you stand up here whenever he teleports away, stand up here and throw one of these down. The only reason you do this is it protects you from him throwing any, It protects you from him throwing any, explosive, or he protects you from him throwing any grenades. But he can't walk onto the staircase. He does a little bit, but you can kind of just dodge onto the staircase whenever, so... But yeah, this pretty much just stops him from throwing any plasmas at you. And there he is. That's it. So you can kind of just cheese him like that if the insta-kill with the fusion coil doesn't work. And that's Jaga. So, just kind of hang out on that left staircase, and he really doesn't go down there. He will teleport a lot, but if you try and stay on top of the staircase as long as possible, protect yourself with the deployable cover so he won't throw grenades. And then just shock grenade stun him, and then laser the shit out of him. You'll be fine. Alright, now, Eshram is a little interesting. Now, if you have tank gun, I didn't really explain tank gun at all, but, or talk about it any other time, but if you have tank gun, I'm sure you guys have seen videos, you can insta-kill Eshram with the tank gun. Now, the tank gun is not what's killing him. What's actually happening is you're launching him with so much force that the impact of him hitting the back wall insta-kills him. And that's how the tank gun works. Now, there's a way to do that without the tank gun. I'm going to show you how that happens. What you need to do, take this giant fusion coil, and you're going to kind of roll it. Don't melee it or shoot it or whatever, but all you got to do is kind of push it. I'd recommend maybe, you could try and roll it a little bit, like a little bit further than right here. There it is. Now you want to line it up. So he spawns. You see where this red line is? So when you're here, he spawns right there. So he's going to spawn right here, and you need to line up this so it's in line with just the back side of the triangle. You need to line it up so it pretty much the corner of it lines up right here, or one end of the fusion coil lines up right here, and the top of it lines up right here. That's what you're trying to line it up with, okay? And this is the most important piece. We're going to also add a bunch of safety pieces in to just make sure it works, because there's a good chance that this doesn't work, and if it doesn't, I'm going to have to revert my checkpoint, and that's going to be very annoying, and it means I'm going to have to re-explain all this, and I won't enjoy doing that. Maybe I won't re-explain it, and I'll just set it up. Well, actually, I would have to, because it means I set it up wrong, so... But yeah, pretty much all you gotta do is just keep running into it until you can kind of get it to be in line where you need it. Alright. but it's sideways. You want it sideways like it is. You don't want it there. Like, this isn't a square, it's a rectangle. So you do want it as flat as it can be. You don't want it on the other end. Okay, perfect. So that's the right lineup. It's perfectly right there. But now I need to move it over this direction. So, is that too far? Do I need to line it up? Oh shit. Wait. Do I need to line it up right here? I just realized. I think I'm pushing it too far. I need to line it up back here, don't I? I lie. Move it back. Move it back. Yep, I lie. Sorry. Not the middle line. I said the middle line. I meant the back line. I meant the back line. That's quick fix. Back line. Back line. That's my bad. I realize I did that, so. But once it's lined up here, you start pushing it sideways. Because you still, the other line was correct. You do want it right here, but you want it in line, kind of in the corner. You want it in the corner, so. Just like that. Well, that might be a little far. It's okay. Perfect. Just about there. So that's lined up. Perfect. Then what you do, you grab this little box and you push it into the corner. So you're basically trapping, what you're doing is you're trapping Eshram in a situation where the game, you know, the game doesn't like it when he's like trapped inside of an object. So it's going to try and push him out of it, but it pushes him out with so much force that it will insta-kill him. So, and actually, you know what? We're just gonna guarantee this. We're gonna take the big box. We're gonna take one of the tall boxes. Try and keep it so it's standing up. It helps it. But yeah, we're gonna try and push this so that it's in line, pushed up next to it, just like this. There we go. And these are just safeties. This is a way to like help guarantee that it doesn't move long enough that it builds up enough momentum that he gets launched. So we do that one there. We do another one off to this side here. We can keep the box on top. That's not a bad idea. Right there. And then this one. Let's take more of the big boxes, shall we? Let's take all the big boxes. Line this up. No, that one doesn't move easily. Oh, I just picked up that fusion coil by accident. Here, we'll just push this one here. The corner. Put the fusion coil in front. Because why not? Push this box. And this side, one more on the hug. And let's just grab these. As I said, like, this is overkill. This is super overkill what I'm doing, but this is just trying to make sure I want to get this first try. I don't want to F this up, so. And that should be good. This will guarantee that no matter where he spawns, he should spawn inside one of these and get launched. Unless he spawns so perfectly in between these that I get screwed over, which there's a chance. So, but this is why, actually, really what I should do is I should put the, right there. There we go. That's really what I need to do. That will help it. Do I need to put one up in the front of it? Why not? Let's put this in the front, and we'll call it good. But yeah, all you gotta do is stack up all these boxes. Oops. Oh, that kind of worked out. Stack up these boxes into this. And it should kind of look like that. Then cross your fingers and hope it worked. Here's what it's going to look like. Now, this button will not activate unless you hit all of those triggers. That basic training, advanced training, if you push this button and you don't get this cutscene, it means you messed up and you literally need to restart the mission and try again. That's why it's so important to hit those triggers. That sucks. So I did get the launch. Sadly, though, it wasn't enough speed. He didn't get enough speed for him to die. So, but I did get him to launch, just not enough. So I now have to die 5 times and do it again. There it is. Okay, so that it did work. It did work. Look at that. He's dead. So that did work. It just, for whatever reason, I did nothing different. Hell, I might even keep in those 5 reverts so you guys can see that it didn't work the first time. I didn't change anything. It literally just, I think maybe because I started the cutscene right away, or I skipped the cutscene right away, or something caused it to interact differently, and that time it decided to send him. Total 100% luck there, as you saw. But you set it up for success, and he just is instantly dead, and that's how he looks. So, insta-kill Eshram without tank gun. Congratulations. As I said, mine was a bit overkill. You can look at the boxes. If you go back and pause, if you looked at the boxes, half of them didn't move an inch. That's because they weren't used. I only really needed 2. You just need the fusion coil and the one on the left side of it, and you just squish those together. And if you have those 2, it'll kill them. But that's the road in House of Reckoning. Little bit of a longer video, but there was a lot to explain. Hopefully that makes any sense. If you have any questions about it, other than, is the glitch patched? Because no, the glitch is not patched. None of those glitches are patched. I 100% guarantee. Don't say it, it's not true. You think it is, you're just doing it wrong. Okay? Restart mission and try again. I guarantee you it's not patched. 100%. They don't patch campaign glitches. Okay?
What is it? What's wrong?
But there you go. There's a lot, but if you do have any questions outside of it's patched, I will make sure to answer everything. If there was some detail I missed or something you're struggling on, I'll try to help you best I can. But that's what it looks like. You saw it. I explained it. Hopefully you can figure it out. It's not too hard. I really think any player can do it. Those out of bounds are some of the easier out of bounds in the entire game. There is some really, like Silent Auditorium has some really complicated, difficult ones. We're not going to do those. So, well, we could do this first one. We're not going to do it. Alright. Anyways, though, that's the road. House of Reckoning. We're on the final mission, baby. Let's get right into it. But then, grapple hook onto here. If done properly... Nope. Alright. Jump across. And then you're going to jump around. Fall a little bit of a...
I think that's it. We should keep moving.